We need to stop trying to filter out people with mental illnesses at the point of employment. So when I've gone for jobs, I'm very aware that if I disclose that I have a history that involves a mental health diagnosis and there's somebody else that has equal qualifications, my chances of getting that job are really low. And I felt less than every other candidate that was turning up to the job. Somebody like me who's come through a tremendous amount of adversity and has come out the other side with my intelligence and my humanity intact has a massive number of skills. There might be difficult ones to write up on a resume, but when you can get yourself through things like feeling chronically suicidal, with the challenge of the services the way they are, if you are still standing on the other side of that, you have some amazing skills to contribute. We tend to think that people with mental health problems have a whole bunch of characteristics. We create these kind of misconceptions that they are disorganised, unreliable, flaky, not very skilled, not very educated. None of those things are true. Some people with mental health problems have some of those characteristics, many people don't. Quite a lot of the stigma that we have around mental illness, they're actually characteristics of people who have not been treated very well. They're characteristics of people who have been long-term unemployed. They're characteristics of people who are not used to being treated as if they have worth. So we've created that problem and we need to be the people that solve it. Our ideas that people like me aren't valuable are what make people like me suffer and struggle and think of ourselves as not valuable. But it's rubbish. There are people out there hiding their challenges. There are GPs out there with diagnoses that are too scared to let anybody else in the office know in case they think they're not competent at their job. There's this culture of fear around mental health diagnosis, around somebody having a label. We think that it means they're incompetent. We think that it means they're dangerous. We think that it means that they're unskilled or they're unsafe. And what that does to people like us is it makes us keep secrets, it makes us feel ashamed of ourselves, it makes it really hard for us to articulate the ways in which we're actually amazing, and the skills that we bring, and the resources that we bring, and how fantastic we can be in a team because we've come through stuff. It's not our first rodeo, and when the wheels fall off, we're often the guys still standing. There's not a lot of research that's been done specifically around employing people with mental health problems or with diagnoses, but there is a lot of research about diversity in the workplace versus monocultures in the workplace. And the research around diversity is that diverse workplaces function a lot better. They are highly productive by comparison to monocultures. So diversity means employing people with diagnosed mental illnesses. It means employing people with visible or invisible disabilities. It means employing people from different cultural backgrounds. Diverse workplaces tend to be more productive, they tend to have better cultures and relationships, and they tend to spend more of their time actually doing what they're here to do and doing it in creative ways rather than getting stressed and struggling with each other. Workplaces need to think differently about people with mental health problems. They're losing out and we're losing out. We tend to think that it's an either or deal. You either create a workplace that's going to be highly profitable, or you kind of go the social responsibility route and you look after all of the vulnerable people. Rubbish. Research doesn't back that in the slightest. You invest in your workplace, you look after your people, you help them have what they need to be there, and they reward you. They're loyal, they're hardworking, they stick by you, they bring those skills into work, they show up. It's not an either or, it's a both and. You look after your people, they look after you.